Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla. Tesla's mission is to accelerate the transition to sustainable energy. And one of the big pillars in getting to sustainable energy is getting our transportation sector all electric. And a big part of that puzzle we are still missing is the semi-truck. But Tesla is getting ready for their electric semi-truck and is taking pre-orders. This will have a huge impact on the transportation sector and our transition to sustainable transport, as they also just mentioned in their impact report. But the savings companies like Pepsi will have from switching their fleet to all electric is just mind-boggling, and no one else has anything like the Tesla semi-truck, not even close. And that is why many don't believe Tesla can deliver. But they should believe it, because Tesla is getting ready to prove them all wrong. So let's check it all out and let's dive right in. The Tesla semi-truck. It's a big deal, as globally 17% of greenhouse gas emission in the energy sector comes from transportation. And in the US, where the Tesla semi-truck will start being delivered, transportation stands for 30% of greenhouse gas emissions in the energy sector. And of the greenhouse gas emission made by the transportation in the US, about 17.9% comes from the trucking industry, even though they only stand for about 1.1% of the fleet. These diesel semi-trucks are some really bad air polluters, and to not have them driving around in our cities, toxifying our air and making noise pollution as well, this is going to be such a big deal for all of us. And electrifying the heavy-duty truck segment is an essential part of the transitioning the world to sustainable energy. And when it comes to EVs, the manufacturing process of the Model 3 or the Model Y currently result in a slightly higher greenhouse gas emission than equivalent combustion engine vehicles. However, based on global weighted average grid mix, Model 3 and Model Y have lower lifetime emission than an equivalent ICE car after driving only 6,500 miles. And based on public available sales and fleet data, Tesla estimates that the average vehicle in the US is driven slightly less than 12,000 miles per year for about 17 years before it's scrapped. So that is about 204,000 miles. And the EV has already lower lifetime emission than the ICE car after just 6,500 miles. And remember, it will only get better as the mix of the grid's energy is only getting more and more renewables. So the carbon emission impact of the ICE vehicle remains the same every year of use. But for the EV, it should improve every single year. But it is already much better today. And that was the US average. As we have a much cleaner grid here in Europe, our lifetime emission is even better than the ones for the US. And remember, the batteries of the EVs will eventually be recycled, and more than 95% of all the materials in the batteries can be used again and again and again and again. But that is for an average user. But when we are talking about vehicles like taxis that are being driven a lot more, the impact is much bigger. But that is just for a car. But the benefits only gets bigger as the transportation gets bigger. And therefore the impact of the Tesla semi-truck will be huge. But I want to be clear, this is not just Tesla that thinks that the electric truck are the future. Scania, one of the world's largest truck manufacturer, has decided the solution to heavy-duty trucks will be based on batteries. Even though many of the competitors are still betting on hydrogen, but Scania thinks hydrogen and fuel cells are too expensive and inefficient. Yes, but how does Scania know this? Because of the research they have done. They have had electric buses running in real life on the streets of Europe for many years. We have a lot of them here in my city of Aarhus, and Scania have been making research both on battery electric buses and semi-trucks and hydrogen buses and semi-trucks. But their conclusion was that electric is the clear winner, and therefore have stopped their development of the hydrogen truck because of the research Scania has done themselves. They know hydrogen is too expensive and inefficient. So you and I can discuss all day long, but the truth is we have not done the research. We can only look at the evidence presented to us. But Scania have done the research and have made both hydrogen and battery electric semi-trucks, and they say BEVs are the way forward. But I did make a whole video about Scania's electric semi-truck. But as we see with cars, Tesla just have the best core efficiency. And as I have said many times, the bigger the vehicles get, the clearer it becomes how much more efficient Tesla's technology is. Just look at this chart made by Maddie. When we look at the efficiency of an electric car, when taking into account the battery size, the EPA range, and the weight of the car, Tesla is up and beyond anyone else in the industry. Most people are not aware of this because if customers are looking at the Model Y and the Ford Mach-E, well, they see that one of them have 300 miles of range and the other have 326 miles of range. Okay, not a big difference, both pretty good, and you only get 8% more range with the Tesla over the Mach-E, so make your pick. But Ford had to put in about 25 kilowatt hours more batteries than Tesla to get that range. So it is not like Ford has almost as an efficient EV as Tesla, only 8% between them. No, Ford uses 25% more batteries, but still only has 8% less range. And when we take weight into calculation, well, the Model X is actually one of the most efficient electric cars out there. It weighs almost as much as a Rivian R1T pickup truck, but that uses 135 kilowatt hours of batteries to get 300 miles of range. The X uses 100 kilowatt hours to get 371 miles of range. So Rivian uses about 35% more batteries to get about 20% less range. As I said, the heavier it gets, the more obvious Tesla's advantage is. And the Cybertruck will do more than 500 miles. And no one else has even come up with a pickup truck that can do that. Because now it's just becoming impossible to just put in more batteries. You have to have a more efficient battery so it does not take up as much space and the cost of the car does not go too high. And this is where Tesla's 4680 cells that they are producing right now in Giga, Texas comes into play. And Tesla's semi-truck has been delayed because Tesla has been waiting for this moment for a long time, where they can produce their own more efficient 4680 cell to make the Tesla semi-truck a reality. But we are here now. Tesla just need to scale up production of the 4680 cell, which they are doing as we speak. And then Tesla will show the whole world how much better and efficient their technology is, because Scania today has an electric semi-truck for small and medium routes with 250 kilometers of range, but will soon come with their 40-ton electric semi-truck, which they say will have a maximum range of 500 kilometers or 312 miles, where Tesla's semi-truck will do 500 miles, so about 800 kilometers, and that is fully loaded at highway speed. So it will have about 60% more range than a Scania semi-truck. But BYD is also making electric buses and trucks, and so are Mercedes and Volvo and others, but they all have about the same range as the Scania, or thereabout. Not one is at Tesla's levels. And they have all just made the old semi-truck into an electric truck. Just look at the inside here from the other guys. Still looks like a normal truck with all the third-party applications, where Tesla just has two big screens with everything integrated. And because Tesla's semi-truck is so much better, the others don't believe Tesla can do with the semi-truck what they say they can. But we have seen the testing of the semi-truck, and the test drivers have been saying it actually is closer to 600 miles than 500 miles. And we have to remember, Tesla might be late on some of their models, but they have never given a spec like performance and range and not met those claims. They have actually always delivered more than they have promised. So the Tesla Semi might be delayed, but it will come next year, and it will be better than what Tesla promised. And it will be a powerhouse. Just a fun little fact, Volkswagen doesn't even have an electric car that can beat Tesla semi-truck in 0 to 60. Next year, Volkswagen will come with their ID.3 GTX that will do a 0 to 60 in 6.2 seconds. That's the fastest EV the Volkswagen brand has ever made. And the Tesla semi-truck will do a 0 to 60 in 5 seconds. So it will be able to go the 500 miles with 80,000 pounds of payload at highway speed and charge 400 miles of range in only 30 minutes, even though you can find people that are saying the Tesla semi-truck can hardly tow anything because it's too heavy. But the reason why people don't believe it is also because they're not counting in Tesla's 4680 cell, but also because electric trucks do have a higher weight allowance than diesel trucks, with both the US and the EU having approved higher weight allowance for electric heavy-duty trucks. Tesla expects the payload to be at least as high as it would be for a diesel truck. In the EU, for example, an electric semi-truck are allowed to be 2 tons heavier than a diesel equivalent, as Tesla also just wrote in their impact report. When fully loaded, the Tesla semi-truck should be able to achieve the 500 miles of range, achieved through aerodynamics and highly efficient motors and their great new battery. And Tesla's calculation of the savings on fuel and maintenance is about $200,000 in 2 years. So the truck will pay itself off in only 2 years. This might sound insane, but just the fuel alone will pretty much do this. As per Tesla's calculation, back when they revealed the Tesla semi-truck, the electric truck would be 20% cheaper to operate than a diesel truck from day one. But Tesla used diesel prices of $2.5 per gallon. That has now more than doubled today. So the economics is even better today. Each year, an 18-wheeler uses the average of approximately 20,500 gallons of fuel. Yes, they do travel a lot. No wonder they stand for about 18% of all transport emission in the US. And with the diesel prices per gallon now in the US over $5, that would mean 1 year of fuel for your diesel truck would be over $100,000. And the 500-mile Tesla semi-truck will start at $180,000. And in 2 years, a normal semi-truck will be using more than $200,000 worth of fuel. And maintenance costs of a Tesla semi-truck will also be much lower, as we know from just the normal car. So yes, I have no doubt that you will be able to save $200,000 in fuel and maintenance in 2 years owning a Tesla semi-truck compared to diesel. And most important to us all, save about 20,500 gallons of diesel for every Tesla semi-truck we get on the road that will not be emitted into the air we breathe. And that is for just one truck. A company like Pepsi that have ordered 100 Tesla semi-truck will save about $10 million each year because of this truck. But the pre-orders of 100 trucks is a tiny fraction of Pepsi's overall fleet. In 2019, the company gave a statement to the US Congress subcommittee where it revealed it has over 36,000 trucks, the largest independently owned fleet in the country. When they get their little sample of 100 Tesla semi-truck and can after 1 year confirm the mountain of savings they do, they will want to get all of their semi-trucks electric, because the savings of $100,000 on 36,000 semi-trucks, that is $3.6 billion in savings a year. Every year. This is nuts, and I don't think the impact of the Tesla semi-truck is fully appreciated by many outside the Tesla community. So yeah, the Tesla semi-truck is going to have a huge impact on the air pollution in the US, and as soon as Pepsi start driving around and can show the world that the Tesla semi-truck save about $100,000 a year and can do what Tesla says it can, and it is just a much better truck. As we here in Denmark have seen, the bus drivers say that the Scania electric bus is just much better to drive and don't emit any greenhouse gases, of course. And Tesla will take this to a whole new level. Also, with the great safety of the Tesla semi-truck and the integrated software and ease of use, everyone can drive a Tesla semi-truck. And with the shortage in drivers, that's probably not a bad thing. And if Tesla is actually as close to solve the full self-driving car as Elon says they are, well, it will probably only be a couple of years before Tesla semi-truck owners can save the cost of the driver as well. So that would be another $60,000 to $70,000 in savings per truck. Yes, remember, Elon said a Tesla semi-truck convoy would even beat the cost of rail. Yes, the impact of the electric semi-truck will be huge, but it will be even bigger when Tesla turns on the full self-driving capability with an over-the-air update mid-decade. And we are less than 1 year away from Tesla starting putting this insane game changer of a truck on the roads. Yes, this will have a huge impact on the environment and on the whole transportation sector, and will prove all the doubters wrong once again. And Tesla once again does something the others said was impossible. But remember, it always seems impossible until it's done. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.